Today we visit one of the key landmarks of the Battle of Nashville. Hi, I'm Skye Marthaler. Welcome to another episode of Rooftops of America. Today, we're taking a look back at Season 3 and also visiting a Nashville landmark, Shai's Hill. All this season, we've been taking a look at the hidden history behind state high points. And while this location here isn't a traditional high point, it still has fascinating stories to tell. Located south of Nashville, Shai's Hill is a short distance from Interstate 65 in the Green Hills community. At the time of the American Civil War, it was known as Compton's Hill. It may be hard to imagine in this suburban setting, but this area used to be nothing but farmland and woodplots. And in December of 1864, it was subject to an intense artillery barrage and a bloody assault. It would be the decisive turning point in the Battle of Nashville. The battle commenced on December 15th. After a day of heavy fighting, General Thomas's Union forces had pushed General Hood's Confederate forces back. That evening, Hood's army formed a defensive line anchored by Compton's Hill on the left and Peach Orchard Hill on the right. Among the troops on Compton's Hill was a young colonel from the area named William Shai, commander of the 20th Tennessee Regiment. For the Confederate forces on the hill, their position was precarious. The dark of the night, muddy terrain, and sheer exhaustion from the day's battle led to several miscalculations when laying in their defensive lines. To make matters worse, the artillery assigned to support them was unable to get in position, leaving them exposed to Federal guns. Sure enough, on December 16th, the Union forces renewed their attacks on the entire line, and they opened with a withering artillery barrage. Over 1,000 shells fell on this hill alone. As day 2 of the battle went on, troops on Compton's Hill were pulled away to support other areas of the Confederate line. Eventually, the hill itself was left with a weakened defensive force and no reserves. It's at this point in the battle that Union General John MacArthur realized the potential to take the hill would slip away at nightfall. The Confederates would either escape or reinforce their positions. He took the initiative and ordered a direct assault, and 4 regiments from Minnesota charged up the hill under heavy fire. They took significant casualties, but eventually overwhelmed the Confederate position. It was in these final moments that Colonel Shai was killed. The Confederate lines collapsed, and Hood's forces were routed. The assault on Compton's Hill would prove to be one of the most decisive moments of the American Civil War. After the war, the hill was renamed to honor Shai's last stand. And while the Battle of Nashville may be this place's most notable event in the history books, it has another hidden connection to our modern times. But before we explore that, let's take a look back at the summits we visited earlier this season. All the places we visited this season had fascinating stories to tell, and made going there a more rewarding and enriching experience when we knew that history. And this place here is no exception. The events of 1864 continue to echo through time. There's a compelling argument that you could make that William Shai's greatest contribution to history didn't occur until the latter half of the 20th century, when he was responsible for one of the major advancements in forensic science. After Shai's death, he was interred in a cast-iron coffin at the family cemetery at Two Rivers in nearby Franklin. It was a peaceful rest for over a century. In 1977, though, that rest would come to an end. It's here where things take a turn for the weird. When local authorities were called out to investigate, what they discovered was a headless corpse, and it had only recently started to decompose. They surmised that this was a homicide, and that the murderer was actually trying to hide the body in William Shai's grave. Their suspicions Well, they were confirmed once they actually found the head. The man had been killed, shot at point-blank range. Dr. William Bass, one of Tennessee's foremost forensic scientists, was called in to investigate. What he found was surprising. It wasn't a recent murder at all, but a grave robbery gone wrong. It was Colonel Shai, who had been preserved by the coffin and arsenic embalming technique used. Shai would be laid to rest again shortly after the investigation concluded. As for the grave robbers, well, they were never caught. But this whole string of events would lead to something else. Dr. Bass realized in the investigation that very little was actually understood about human decomposition. So he set out to remedy that and created one of the premier forensic science laboratories, a place simply known as the Body Farm. Located in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Anthropological Research Facility was established in the 1980s to study human decomposition in natural environments and to improve techniques to determine timing and circumstances of death. It has proven to be an invaluable tool in forensic science and law enforcement. It's also a fascinating example how an event at this hill continues to have an impact well over a century and a half later. These are the kind of things, these background details, that I hope to bring in future episodes and future seasons of Rooftops of America. When we go and look at the history, geology, and geography of a place, I want to explore a little deeper and find these hidden connections. None of this would be possible without the support of my family and friends. They're one of the main reasons I'm able to do the thing I love. Also, thanks to everybody who, for this season, worked behind the camera and also on location. Without you, these episodes wouldn't be a reality. Your help, as always, is appreciated. To get to the top of Shai's Hill, it's just a short walk up this trail behind me. Let's go check it out. And here we are on the top of Shai's Hill, coming in at 876 feet. This is one of the decisive locations of the U.S. Civil War. If you're ever in Nashville, stop by. It's well worth the visit. If you've enjoyed this season or any of the episodes, please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Like a video, leave a comment. Every bit is appreciated. I'm Skye Marthaler. Thanks for joining me on another season of Rooftops of America. I'll see you soon.